I am Tobias Josephson. Welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. This morning we're going to be talking about some safe magics and whatnot. Things that aren't dangerous, and they won't put people in harm's way. What we do here at Paranormal Witchcraft is we really do try to focus on the responsibility. We do really try to focus on being ethical and grounded when we approach our investigations, our hauntings, investigations, and researching. So hopefully you guys are having a good morning. Everybody's good. There is that. Good, good, good. All right. There we are. I knew I did something wrong last night. Good morning. How are you? Dark Light Pyra 6866. Hello and good morning. I'm expecting Chris Stantz to be in here. All right, he will most likely be our first moderator. So this is test number 2. So welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. I'm Tobias Josephson. Yes, my home group is Brotherhood of Male Witches. All right. This is a startup. We're a brand new business. Okay. So it is 8 o'clock on the dot. Let's get started, my friends. All right. I don't think it'll fit in my breast pocket, but it might. Nope. All right. So, hopefully you had a good night rest. All right, you guys are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Thank you last night to everybody who tuned in. Not a bad first podcast, or more or less a full-length podcast. The first previous 2 were deleted. There's too much argument going on, and so I just got rid of them. Last night's live, much better. But the podcast is listed as private, and so what that means is there's a couple things in here that I must have said or done in the wrong way, okay? And so thank you, YouTube, for not telling me what that is. Again, I know, read the terms and agreements and blah, 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 but good lords, it's kind of hard to get up here and even speak English on these platforms these days, so I'll do my best. Let's see what we can do. All right. So this morning, like I said, we're starting a brand new game board. It is Monopoly themed. There's 40 spaces. There are 4 pauses in each corner. Okay? So I have a little bit of information to go over about that, and then we are going to throw some rocks. So here I have in front of me a facilitator field manual, all right, made by me for us at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. This is something we can now take out into the field, all right, and use during our paranormal investigations or our hauntings investigations, or if we're using magic to help somebody, okay, in spiritual attacks services. Spiritual attacks services is meaning somebody who didn't properly use a Ouija board, got themselves in trouble. You would call people like us to help you get out of that situation. Trying to really choose my words here, because I've heard for a long time now that YouTube is almost worse than Facebook when it comes to what they call gatekeeping. And I think a lot of the world is starting to call BS on that. But that's not for me to choose or for you to choose. It's out of our control. But anyways, thank you again last night to everybody who tuned in. We appreciate all of you, whether your opinion was for us or against us. Okay? I will do my best to make sure that I say things in the most PG rated manner I can, since apparently we are on a platform that is made for children by children, I guess. So we'll try to respect YouTube's wishes when it comes to that. But YouTube, you got to help us out a little bit. So paranormal witchcraft investigations, your keyword you should always be thinking about besides your personal responsibility is safety. Okay? Okay? Back out of this and we'll switch it back to that. We'll go here. And I'm going to do this. And then we're going to go. There we go. I'm going to turn it back on, so if there's more of you that want to comment below, you can. I will pause interim in between things as I psychically give myself cues to respond to you guys. All right, we do have Chris in the crowd, or will eventually. So welcome, Danielle, if you're in here. Welcome, Richard, if you're in here. Kyle, welcome if you're in here, but I'm pretty sure you're at work. So there's certain people who don't go to work this early. There's certain people, Chris, who work at home. And so thank you for making the post, but you'll learn their schedules, no worries. So we're not necessarily summoning. We're not provoking, and we're not escalating. We're not summoning, we're not provoking, and we're not escalating, all right, when we're communicating with our spirits and our ghosts and whatever it is we're working on. We want to remain supportive. We want to make sure that containment is focused. We want to make sure everyone's nervous system is on par and grounded. And if not, you'll have to wait in the car or whatever, okay? Below are a few magical practices that could potentially enhance clarity and protection without any sensationalism, theatrics, or any psychological destabilization for any party that is hunting with us. So you can do the most basic thing, which we've talked about over on Facebook before we came over here. We were talking about how you can do things like grounding constantly, okay? You want to have that meeting before you go in and come up with a kind of sort of rough draft of what you're expecting, or a very professional standardized list of what you're expecting for the more professional and more founded paranormal investigating teams out there who may already have literature and processes set up, okay? But for us, right, at Paranormal Witchcraft, here is what we are looking at. Good morning, blessings, and blessed be, as I say on my side of the fence. That means go out, be well, be positive, and blessed be means that whatever you do, push it back out into the universe around you. All right? If you missed it in the beginning, I am Tobias Josephson. I am the creator, along with my wife, Lady Fonda. All right, and we are the owners, and then we have 8 other team members behind us who are partners, and so they get to go off and do things in different directions as they see fit under the umbrella of paranormal, supernatural, metaphysical, or craft, or other, okay? And whatever it is they're doing for a side hustle and stuff, they will bring it to our group on Facebook. You will see it being shared. We do encourage all of you to like, share, and follow or join our affiliates, our team members, right? Everybody in our family. We keep it very real. We keep it very blunt, all right? We argue in there. We cry in there. We hug in there. That's the type of team we are, okay? We look out for our own. So now you have a little bit of a background of who we are. It's funny how we went from 13 to 1 of you. That's okay. So below are magical practices that may potentially enhance some perspective, some clarity, some added protection. I would like to think it shows a little bit of responsibility and respect as well, but that's up to you to decide. You can use grounding and regulation before you enter. And this is to stabilize yourself before you get in there and start jumping to conclusions because you're hyped up and you've had 3 Red Bulls. Then you put your hand on your chest, all right, your heart, or your abdomen. I observe, I do not project. I observe, I do not project. I observe, I do not project, or something along the lines like this. We are here to observe. We are not here to project. We are here to observe. We are not here to project. We are here to perceive. We are not here to project. So I would like to do it 3 times in a row, kind of like the Trinity type with the knocking. I kind of believe in my sick, twisted mind there that doing it 3 times gives them ample warning of what your intentions are, what your respect is, and it's kind of a huge respectful thing to do. You're giving them ample warning, going, hey, if you don't like it, let us know. That way, if they knock something over, you're like, okay, let's try something else, all right? But nonetheless, when you're doing the grounding, that's why. You don't want to get startled right away when something does happen. You want to come from a place of logic. You want to come from a place of emotional and mental stability. All right? So if you're doing side habits and stuff before you get there, we're going to be looking at you funny because you have to have a clear mind to hunt. Why this matters: a regulated body will not misread as much. All right? So you won't immediately take a brief cold spot that might be due to a draft in between thresholds or something as a cold spot. I got a cold spot. You don't want to do that. And it happens a lot. People get overly excited, all right? And the human factor is one of the tools we need to calibrate, if you will, all right, ourselves. We have to make sure we are calibrated mentally. We have to make sure we're calibrated spiritually, all right? Internally, we're in a calm place. We're in a positive place. We're in a respectful place. We're not exaggerating. We're not casting, okay, that way. Okay, we're not trying to pull shit out of the walls on purpose. We're not calling them out. We're not doing the para-celebrity stuff. Okay, that stuff is wrong. It's irresponsible, and it's only meant to get you guys to click on their shows. That's the truth. Okay. Boundary statement. Now this can be non-invocatory, which means you don't have to say it with me, but we're going to say it here today. Right. If you do like this podcast and you like what you're seeing, please post on your social profiles and feel free to share this link with your pages and your groups if you know somebody out there who would like watching this. All right. And now we're up to 4 people. We have 3 thumbs up. That's good. I don't know what these continuums are, but last night we had 40 continuums. All right. I guess that's good. We had 117 views. That is awesome. All right. Anything over 5 for me is acceptable. All right. It's a great big world out there, and if there's 5 souls all over the planet that tune into this podcast today, I'm a happy guy. All right. I'm not here to be a Zach. Okay. I'm not here to be anyone like Cabot. All right. If you don't know who those people are, look them up. I'm really trying to stay out of copyright jail from this place. Okay. I would really like to be a productive, all right, responsible podcaster here on YouTube, okay? And so anything that's negative, until we have moderation, you will just simply be ignored, okay? We're not here to argue. We're not here for bantering. We're not here for debating, okay? What we do is we educate in all realms, all things spirituality, and we like to think that as a team of witches and sorcerers and psychic intuitive mediums, that's right, you heard that right, I'll slow down, we are Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, hence the name. We are a team of practicers of many different paths, creating one exclusively, completely new idea, all right? And we just so happen to have a passion like the rest of you, like we do for our magics and our psychisms, for paranormal investigating, paranormal researching, having some shenanigans, and educating you all and having some frickin' fun while we do it. If you don't like that, hard left, no hard feelings, and peace, okay? Anyone who's here to try to agendify these podcasts, either morning or night, you're going to get this same message. Very nicely, very respectfully. If you have nothing nice to say in this room, please say nothing at all. That being said, let's continue. Now, the boundary statement, if you want to read this along, all right, or rewind this after it's published, if it gets published safely this time and not private, where everybody can see it, then you could go back and you could write this down, or I'll go really slow here. You guys can write it down. So same thing. You can choose your heart, like you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, all right? Or you can put it on your solar plexus, your abdomen, which is like the core, if you will. So I'm going to use my core, all right? And in a few seconds, we are going to start saying a few things. Now, I notice this seems boring to a lot of people who think, oh, it's paranormal, but this guy's talking boring. Well, that's funny because paranormal witchcraft is a lot like fishing. Okay? So if you're here and you're tuning in for a few minutes and then you're dropping out, I think you're the people who would probably do better following Zach Baggins. Okay? All right? That's just how I'm going to put that. All right? Because your ignorance is showing. All right? And so is people like that. Okay? Now, whether it's on purpose or not, we don't know. I have nothing against people like that per se, because I don't know the man from Adam, but I can tell you that teaching the ignorance is what they're doing, YouTube, while you're scanning this later. The ignorance and the irresponsibility in the paranormal community is what we're trying to address here as a brand new startup. We see so many people getting caught up in FAFO, F around and find out stuff, and then you don't know what to do, and then you have no one to turn to because Ed and Lorraine and others don't make themselves readily available across the country or do ads or anything like that. So what are you going to do if you get yourself in trouble? Have you thought about that yet? Probably not for most of you. You probably joined a hunt on a whim because it seemed exciting. Maybe you're one of those people who tried to use a Ouija board on your own with your friends. It didn't work out so well. That would be called spiritual attacks. Whether it's inadvertently against yourself, like myself, and we'll show you here in a few minutes what we mean about inadvertently self-cursing and whatnot, okay? This is a demon. His name is Asmodeus. And I don't see any reason why YouTube should filter this out, because this is very educational and very relevant. And this is a professional stance we're taking today. We're talking about the responsibility and the lack thereof that I had as a child. When I was 20, I'll be 50 this year. All right? So these things exist. They don't exist in the way people think they exist, because most of you are looking in the wrong places for knowledge on what these things are. What they are is real. There's no doubt. Okay, there's TV shows that are trying to show you that, but in the wrong way, using too much ignorance and too much sensualization, all right? Which means they're hyping it up before you even get there, before anything even happens, all right? And people like that are stuck in a loop like that, especially if they're owned by another network. Remember that when you're watching them next time. Watch their body language closer in the episodes. You'll start seeing them doing things they weren't doing a few years ago because of the pressure. They're always on, okay? Always. They don't get to be just a normal person in their normal lives after their episodes anymore, because they've spent their careers educating ignorantly, going after the almighty dollar, all right? And now people like us are standing up in Facebook and all over the internet, all right, and we're talking about it because the elephant in the room has to be talked about. The change has to happen in both communities, right? There's too much egotism, too much maniacal, diabolical, and you can just fill in the blanks from there, okay? And it's all over people's egos and who believes they're the best investigator and who's got more followers and who's to be listened to and who's to be mentoring others and who's to be looked up to and who's not to, and it's a mess, right? And what none of them are doing is trying to get all the new generations flooding the gates to be responsible. But here we are, we're trying here today on YouTube this morning at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Please excuse the dogs next door. It's a beautiful day outside. We have little mascot Spooky right in front of us taking a nap. Hold on. As you see, we have a little Spooks up there. And what you can't see is there's a neighbor walking his dog by that lighthouse, or by that light pole. So there's Spooks. one of our mascots. Okay. You might see them on hunts eventually. Give us a couple years. They're kind of shy, not really fond of car rides and whatnot, but they do like to play and they do like to have adventures. And so with a little more positive reinforcement training, I think we can do that. I can give you guys secrets as a cat father. If you use those squeezables and hard treats as positive reinforcement for going for car rides and whatnot. Oh, he's looking at you guys. Hi! What are you doing, big kitty? Yeah? Oh, he's sleepy. He's taking a nap. They just had their breakfast, or they're about to. All right? And so let's talk about a little more of this in a second. Let's get to this boundary statement before the CBD makes me forget again. All right? We are here only to observe. We're only here to document spirits or whoever may be with us. This is what you would say, okay, as you're entering if you want. We are here only to observe. We are here only to document. We are here only to respect you and this space, spirits who dwell here. Nothing is invited. Nothing is provoked. We have no challenges for you. We bring no taunts. We bring no demands. And then as we enter the premises, we have stated our intentions in full respect, in full humility. You'll have to apologize. We were using Real Dragon's Blood ink last night for the Brotherhood, showing Brother Chris Stant how to, I'm mentoring him. He's a new hat or a new broom. All right, so if you're new to the path of magics, learning, you call yourself a new broom or a new hat. Okay? I do have a besom behind me. If you look, you will see it right next to my arm here. If you look in between the jewelry armoire in the back behind me, you will see a broom. So this broom, this besom, we made together, all right, on Facebook during one of our education live streams before we came over here full time, okay? And what I did is I went to Hobby Lobby on the down low. You purchase their closeout cinnamon besoms. You take them apart. You make them a shorter length, all right? You buy your own twine. You do your own rituals, all right? Get yourself a little creativity, all right? And you can make yourself a besom, all right? And what you're doing is the same thing we just did. You're clearing the space of any nefarious or toxic or anything, okay? You're reaching with that boundary statement, all right? And it's helping you flush out anything you don't want to encounter. Keeping you safe, keeping the other spirits there safe. You get the idea. All right, so after you've done that, you can do some interesting things if you're there really early, because I just looked at the next item on the list. That's right. I let things flow organically here, okay? Sometimes I have time to proofread, sometimes I do not. That's why I'll do a lot of talking, because I'm articulating what I'm reading, because I haven't had a chance to edit it in the way I want it to sound yet. So bear with us. Remember, we are a startup. We are a brand new business, a 501c hybrid. We give more than we take. If you do check out our store, www.ParanormalWitchcraft, all lowercase, llc.com, you will find a couple storefronts. You will find a couple of our mugs, our shirts, our sweatshirts. We have a beanie, all right? Because it is winter, stuff like that, a couple sweatshirts, a pullover hoodie, some stickers. You get the idea. The basic stuff people might like to collect if they're into the paranormal or if they're into witchcraft, right? And if you do that, all right, I have taken every single profit off of every single item in our shops, all right? And there is also included free shipping. So what you are paying is cost. You're paying exactly what I pay for the item. All right, and I don't make any money. We don't make any money. It goes to, I call it a petty cash account that is tied to our savings. All right, non-disclosed, obviously. All right, and then we use that to give back to Paranormal Witchcraft teammates. So if somebody needs a Canvas subscription covered, somebody needs Restream covered, maybe Richard's out on the road helping somebody at their house with a spiritual attack case, he might need an herb or something. All right, and that way we can send funds to our teams wherever they may be, because we are divided across the U.S. We have member Brian Forshee in Minnesota. We have members Stephen Blevins and a Shadow Ops Warrior Witch Army supporter, Nikki Decker, who both live in Washington. We have myself and Fonda and Richard, who live in the state, and Danielle, who live in the state of Illinois. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. We have Mr. Alex Floki Kruger, who is also one of our sorcerers, one of my best brothers, all right, and brother from another mother, ex-classmate from our Academy of Sorcery days, okay, and so he is in Michigan. All right, let's see, who else do we have? We have Miss Holly Staples Faust, our psychic medium and author. A lot of you paranormal people might recognize her name. She does a lot of events. She has her own storefront, I believe, and she is working on a brand new book as we speak. I believe it is titled Ouija's Demystified. All right, I believe she's made a post looking for forward writers. All right, so go show Holly Staple Faust some love. All right, she has herself a cute little nickname, all right, the Cryptid Queen. So go check out our lovely paraprofessional Miss Holly Staples Faust. Who else do we have? We have Sandy Bowersocks. We have Christine Bowersocks, all right, I believe they're cousins. They are also practitioners, all right, and you'll probably find them in Black Rose Lodge. You don't know what that is? Go look it up on Facebook, all right. And then we have my wife, Lady Fonda. We have, let me see if I got everybody. We have Kyle Kaczynski, all right, and he is over in Massachusetts. Let me see if I have everybody. I think I have everybody in the list. We do have friends, Sherry and Steve. Kunitz, all right, and so those are Shadow Ops, Warrior Ops supporters. So when you see things on Facebook over there, which won't be me, I'm restricted, all right, you'll see hashtags, Warrior Witch Army, that's what we're talking about. Anybody who follows, anybody who supports, anybody who likes, anybody who learns, anybody who's mentored by myself or part of this business, you would be included in that Warrior Witch Army, all right? So in those like-minded numbers, you would be part of something special. That was the original reason why we made the shop storefronts. It was for you guys. So, I see I've bored you guys again. That's okay. Protective floor wash if you have the time, or a threshold spray. That's right, you heard me correct. A threshold spray. What is that, Tobias? Well, interesting you ask. Let's find out. So it is something that would be in the likes of a light herbal spray. Okay, you'd probably mix it with water, possibly some salt, and you would spray around a threshold or a boundary mark. Okay, just like if you're outside trying to kill your weeds, right? You're going to be spraying a threshold spray in a very controlled manner, just like that. Very similar reason. You're going to want to kill the spiritual weeds. All right, so they don't kill your batteries, they don't drain your machines, they don't give you effed up data readings, right, where you're blurry, you have a lot of distortion. It may not be EVP, it may be nefarious spirits because you didn't ground or protect before and after, because you didn't tell us something, right? That could be a case, and that's why we would do something like that as an added precautionary safety measure. Safety is always first, always. It could be infused with rosemary. You could infuse it with bay leaf. Rosemary stands for clarity. Bay leaf will help you out with authority, okay? And salt, as I said, and I didn't even look down at this. All right, welcome to being a psychic. I woke it up last year, at the end of last year, and it's kind of like somebody kicking in my door. I haven't had time to really harness my psychism yet, and so it just kind of comes out. I apologize. All right, and so if that offends you, hard left, but there you have it. You can use it on your equipment, its cases, its thresholds, and don't theatrically throw it around like you're a Roman Catholic priest. Just, you don't need to be that dramatic, okay? Because you're giving a red flag to the spirits who now might be backing up in the room going, oh boy, it's one of them guys. You don't want to portray that. All right, you want to make sure, like the aliens, we come in peace. Right? Very good example. And if they don't come in peace, you'll know it. But right, we always want to come from a place of love, respect, and peacefulness and safety first. Always. Investigations. One, you'll find yourself getting more data points because you're grounded and not being wound up, and so your body might mistake something for this or something for that, or your eyes might play tricks on you because you are at a place of rest and calmness and logical. You have calibrated yourself, all right? Sorry about that, it just came out. But you know what I mean. You've calibrated yourself, your energy points, and so you're good. But if you want to do this, you can. That's why I was excited to get to this morning. And the sun is out this morning. It is a beautiful, fabulous Monday morning. We do have the firehouse ripping us a new one tomorrow morning as she blazes by. All right, and we'll be doing something very special tomorrow for the firehouse, the fire horse energy that is about to take us all to where we want to go this year. Okay, and so it is a ritualized intentionality. That's how you call that, all right? That means you're purposely, intentionally using a form of ritual to state your intent in a stronger way, but in a very friendly way. Hi, how you doing? I have an added bonus. It's an icebreaker. Do you understand? You're trying to get the spirits and yourself to relax all at the same time. All right, so it's a very good practice to do if you want. I'm going to get a spray bottle ready today, actually, because we're working on the pack out for our first hunt with business partners, Blue Mountain Paranormal. Please find them here on Facebook. Matt Hornick, Adam, and team do a great job, okay? They pause, they allow for data points. They aren't doing anything aggressively. They are being respectful, okay? So they are our business partners, and we are also affiliate with Witchfinder Dating on Facebook, the social. Yes, I do. The social circle. All right. So go look them up if you're interested in the craft. There is Lady Fonda now, refreshing my coffee with one of our haunted house coffee mugs that I collect. This is out of Chicago's 13th floor. I almost worked for them as a scare actor in 2024. Now, before we go any further, right, so here are some of the giveaways we have for my home group, the Brotherhood of Male Witches. By the week's end, I have to find 5 winners. All right. And this was for Lupercalia education. All right. I've had this stuff laying around for over a year, untouched, unused. This is actually a brand new handmade chunk of botanical metaphysical soap, all right, with an apothecary spoon for one prize over there, and a pocket witch's runic oracle deck. That's a prize for one person over there. For the person over there who tuned in the most times for our bingo challenge, where what we did is I did demonstrations every day on things like that. We made a custom together, okay? We made some spell jars. I'll show you some. So, any number of things we have done already in this group. You guys just have missed out on all of it because I was trying to give Facebook the benefit of the doubt. So anyways, Another one will get a personal set of witches' ruins with a small guidebook. Put this back here. Right. Another person, second place, is going to get a little positive broccoli sticker. All right. I may be a tiny broccoli, but I believe in you. Go Brock the world. Tiny broccoli has your back whenever you need a pick-me-up. And attached to it is a Dark Confessions still wrapped oracle cards. Team you bought, okay, but I do have a deck I use behind me. And first place is getting a brand new, in the package, holographic, AE weight, standard tarot deck. Just for tuning in the most over a 30-day period. Whether it was after work, whether it was in between watching their kids or whatever over there at the Brotherhood, this is my way of saying a personal thank you. Now for this group, let me go grab yours. It's in the back office. And we will show you what that is. All right. And then we will get to number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. And after that, we'll throw some rocks. All right. And we are about 40 minutes in, so I'm about 10 minutes behind. That's okay. So thank you to everybody who has tuned in and left. You are still appreciated. Thank you for stopping by. All right. Whether it was a tech glitch, I hear there's a lot of people out there last night who kind of got thrown off if they didn't have the best tech or internet speed. Hopefully, YouTube and Meta changed their ways with that, but it's not looking like it with the AI takeover. Okay. Hopefully they're a little more responsible as us and they stop flagging every other word we say because they've just overcompensated because it's just easier as a corporation to do that. But again, we have no right to complain about that. All right. So I think we have a TV on. Give me a second. You have the TV on? You don't have the TV on, do you?
It's low?
Yep.
I'll disconnect. I disconnected.
I'm not playing this tech game with YouTube either. All right, guys. So here's your pile. Sorry, it took me a minute. All right. So one of you is going to get another slab of Humankind Botanicals handmade cherry vanilla soap. And with that, you'll get yourself a little car decal, right? And it says, it's okay to fall apart sometimes. Tacos fall apart too, and we still love them, all right? So remember, when you have a bad day or you're having a bad morning and say today is a Monday for you, just remember, you're not the only one having a shitty Monday. It also comes with a sticker. You are kind of a big dill. Life isn't always about bread and butter. So this pickle is here to help you dill. Okay? With all that life throws your way, I will always be around to let you know you are enough, you matter, and you are a big dill. All right? Next in here, somebody will get their very own personal, all right, car decal. All right, and what you have to do is be very careful. You can see the, all right, and I do believe everything separates, and then you have to peel it off, put that on, peel that off, put that on. All right, but I do have one on my personal car. One of my kiddos has been using my car, so I forgot about it. But next, okay, we have a 33 days of tarot, still wrapped, shadow work tarot journal. We have an old witch's spell book. I do have a copy on the bookshelf just for the hell of it. All right. Remember, these things do have relevant information, but they're also meant to be kid friendly as well. So not the best references for most people. This one is first place. I have my Rite of Exorcism book out. I don't remember why I have my Rite of Exorcism book out, but I do. So I guess that must mean I need that out today. And so that is how a witch lives their life. They see something like that, not sure why, they'll leave it out, see if the spirits or synchronicity pops up and gives us a reason why. All right, so first place will get a hardcover, all right, Dark Goddesses book, all right, Unlocking the Power of Hecate, Lilith, the Morrigan, Baba Yaga, Kali, Oya, Persephone, Hathor, Sekhmet, and more. It is even signed by myself to encourage you. It says, blessings on your personal journey, Tobias Josephson and Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. This will be first place. So whoever in this group over there on Facebook tuned in the most for all our education and demonstrations, right? And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners for this Facebook group as well. Okay? And labeled. Let's continue on some more safe and grounding magics you can do during your investigations and hauntings if you so choose. I will pause for a second before we continue and take some comments. We do have our own coffee mugs. I'm just not using them. They're in the dish drain right now, so. If you haven't figured out by now, I have a thing with coffee cups. Makes sense, because I'm always drinking coffee, right? Let's see. I'll show you guys another thing we did together. Now, we'll be using these in a little bit when we throw rocks. If you've never heard the term throw rocks before, all right, when it comes to divination, it'll be interesting. But these are a handmade set of witches' ruins. That's right, we're going to be using witches' ruins. And so the all-seeing eye popped out, so we'll leave that out. Kick some incense back into the room here. We have Mr. Spookers watching our neighbors. Oh, no, that's Mr. Shadow. Oh, you guys get to see our second kitty. Come here, Shadowbot. Hi. What are you doing, big boy? Are you a big kitty, Shadowbot? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Shadow is our second mascot, obviously, because we have 2 little boys. The first one you saw earlier was Mr. Spook. All right, and that is Shadow. And there he goes. Now, what I like about Shadow is... Come on. Out. He lets me know that he doesn't like the incense or the herbs in here. All right, and so if I don't know he's in here, obviously I notice when he leaves the room, which is good. I do try to look out for them, because a lot of the herbs and incenses we use as witches can be harmful. There is a window open, okay? All right, and there is a fan we're using in the bedroom, but I have to bring it back here. So I have a fan that's in this office too, so if we do an unblocking at the end here, it'll get kind of smoky. And what I do is I'll usually use a box fan behind me to blow that out the window, but today I won't, because I don't want to stop the podcast. All right, so let's set that in front of me, my guys and girls and ladies. All right, and so next you can try something like a protective knot or a cord. That's more containment focused. So you can tie 1, 2, or 3 knots in a string before investigation. So as you tie the first one, we would like to have clarity during our investigation. Go down to the second one if you want to do more than one, all right, if you do 3. Second, as you tie it, protection, all right, and you want to pull it tight. And as you pull, all right, your intention, all right, get it? That's how your intention goes out. Same thing, you're going to tie the third one as a release at the end. So you would untie after leaving the site, and that is symbolically closing your session, all right? So it doesn't harm them, it doesn't harm you. It's just like a protective, a Ouija circle. You have to remember to open and close it. Ouija, sorry. For the splainers in the room. Next, and so what this is meant to do is you don't want to leave any psychological residue. That's why you would use the knot trick. And so that way, everybody's good, all right? And there's no carryover. You're not taking anything home, okay? So number 5, if you want to make a sigil of observation, and this isn't meant to command anything, any individuals that might be wandering the premises. Could it be a cemetery or a home or an asylum or wherever you're at, right? Asylums and schools and such like that, that everyone's going to and hunting, and it's like the circuit right now, like places like Penhurst. Remember, you're not there to command those places. And remember, they have their doors kicked in all the time. And so they might not be up to communicating all the time. So please keep that in mind. Please have respect for the unalived. If you want to use a sigil of observation, it's not meant to command, okay? You would use it for clear perception. You would use it for no distortion. You would place it in a notebook or inside your camcorder case or something like that. You would use this as a extra added tool to your investigation or personal protection tool belt to avoid entity-specific seals or spirit calling symbols on purpose. But this way, you're making sure it's clear for perception and you're not trying to summon. I feel like we're missing some words there. It didn't fill in the blanks enough. So that sounded absolutely nonsensical. But the point is you're not going there to like use a Goetia symbol unless you know what you're doing. But again, we don't want to teach anyone that. If you do that on your own, don't let us know about it, all right? Next, we were talking about this earlier in the week on Facebook. We were talking about the salt line. If you want to do it in the threshold, so a lot of times at places you have to put deposit, you have the place all night, you got to find the room you want to set up, or the headquarters, if you will. So a lot of times you could put a salt threshold down. That way they can't go in there and mess with your equipment, you know, take your keys so you can't find them when you leave, all that stuff. And I've heard spirits do that sometimes. And it's probably because you called them out and irritated them, or you were in a place where a trickster or poltergeist was. It could be either or. All right, so let's see where we're going. Here's still the first message. Good. All right, we had a lot more engagement last night, but that's okay. We'll just go back to that. I'm happy with that. All right, so somebody's still in here. Welcome, Chris. So what you're going to do is you're trying to manifest activity in the safest way possible. It's probably the safest way to say that, okay? You're not trying to escalate psychological suggestion. You're not trying to escalate group tension, okay? You're not trying to use magic for inviting, provoking, inflating, or theatricizing anything, all right? Leading to sensationalism, which you'll see on TV, okay? And that's not entirely the truth, right? The truth is there's a lot of hard work that goes into that stuff, and it's not always like bouncing off the walls when you enter and then you're running for your life to get out of the place. It's not always like that all the time, 100%. That should be a first red flag to a lot of people. All right, so what you're doing with this stuff is you're trying to help regulate, you're trying to help contain, okay? You're trying to get the best clarity you can, and that way you close things and open things safely. Let me see what that was. All right, thank you. I had to pause to see what that was. So I have the comments turned off. How do I have the comments turned off? Well, that's not good. Well, it could be they turned commenting off. But let me make sure, guys. I don't need extra lighting. Live commentary. It says live commentary mode on. I don't want to do that. All right. I'm not sure. I don't think it's me, though, guys, because I haven't touched anything since last night, so people can't comment, huh? All right. I'm sorry about that. I will have to figure out why. You know, perhaps they didn't like last night's because it's listed private, right? Which means there's something they didn't like, something I wasn't supposed to do. Could be something to deal with that. And I could have an email I haven't seen yet. So either way, I will get right to it after this live, guys. Okay? So you could do the salt line. You can do a closing ritual if you're going to do any of this. Okay? Now, it's not recommended if you don't know what you're doing that you do any of this. Remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. All right? So if you don't know what you're doing, ask a professional. Please. So many investigators open, few close. After the investigation, you're going to want to make sure, okay, guys, the session is complete. Nothing follows. Wash your hands in cool water. Step outside, all right? This prevents suggestion. This prevents loops, all right, or anything takeaway or carrying. You can do shielding visualization. So imagine yourself being steady, being neutral. You're not defensive. You're not aggressive. Imagine yourself being stable. Ethical divination, if you want to use it. Okay. If tarot or runes are incorporated, ask, what should we remain aware of? Or what requires caution? You could do something like that. Or anything like that. But what you shouldn't do is, who's here? All right, you're calling people out. Don't do that. Even to the unalive, please. All right, or what spirit is present? Give us your name, things like that. Or challenging or being aggressive. Don't do that. But you can use tarot positively. And last but not least, your nervous system reset. Post-investigation, if you want to do this, guys. It's essential for your long-term health, obviously. We don't want anyone getting hurt on these hunts. We don't want anyone having any attachments accidentally, etc. Safety is always number one going in, while we're going there, during, and after. Okay, nothing else matters than human safety. So what you could do is sit outside for 10 minutes, relax, get some hydration. It's probably been a long night in there or a long hunt. All right, give yourself a little bit of food. Let your body relax. Let the excitement fade. And just basically kick back for a few minutes after the hunt. Give yourself time to absorb everything that's happened, etc., etc. I would say that's usually a 5 to 10 minute, 5 to 15-minute period for most people. Alright, so we can't turn comments on. That's lovely. Well, guard your prophecy, abide by our community guidelines. Gotcha. Alright, well, I will work on that for the live later. I'm apologizing now. Alright. So, I'm guessing the fact that people can't comment is because, again, I did something they didn't like. So I'll have to figure out what that is. And if that bothers you, hard left and leave the podcast. There's not a whole bunch I can do about it from here, guys. All right. You'll have to give people space and allow them to grow here on YouTube, okay? Especially if they're not familiar with YouTube. Please and thank you. Okay? So let's throw some rocks. Since we've been talking about throwing some rocks all morning, let's throw some rocks. These are witches' ruins. Let's see if we can get a good picture for you guys. All right, so there is 13 stones here, and we are literally throwing rocks. All right, just like that. We just casted witches' ruins. Witches' ruins are pretty old. All right, I suspect that it was something we made for witches by witches for particular reasons. All right, they're more of a newer divination item that are starting to gain popularity across the world. I'm pretty sure that's not due to me using them. I have a feeling there's other factors, right? But here we have a cast of witches' ruins. Let me move this over to where you guys can see it. I'm not going to sweat small things in our first week of YouTube podcasting. I know that it's important for people to engage in stuff, but please bear with us, okay? We don't have a team of techs over here that are solving all our problems before we're going live. Remember, we're like everybody else before you became somebody on social media or in your business. We are in that phase. So please be gracious. Please and thank you, okay? So let's cast some stones here. See what's going on. Let me remove the tripod legs and make sure you guys can see what you're looking at. So there you are. There is some casted witches' ruins. Now we will place them on those squares, and we will do a witch's ruins reading. All right, you'll have to excuse me. This tripod is about to die on me. All right, so we have the moon showing up this morning. Influence. We have romance. We have water. We have the wind. We have the all-seeing eye. I told you guys. All-seeing eye is showing up in your conscience. Present is the scythe for the self. The problem might be harvest. All right. You have a man in the future. You have star in your hopes and fears again, so that's good. That means your mindset is still positive. You are still stable. Good. Good work, people. Good work. All right. You have crossroads in your unconscious. All right, guys. Oh, sorry. Stars in your unconscious. Okay, so this is a Celtic cross spread I am using, okay, and then we are using the Witches' Ruins, which are kind of like a tie-in between tarot and oracle. It's kind of hard to describe, but let's read them, all right, and each one comes with a card. So we're starting today with the scythe, making a final decision or a sudden ending, possibly. Okay. scythe, bright and early in the morning. I can hear some of you, oh boy. Well, it's not always a bad thing. Energy is cleansed by the chiming of the clock. Blessings, blessed be. Sudden changes or endings. You are forced to make a decision, a final decision possibly for some of you. You went back to complete tasks, or you're going after new tasks. You walked away or are walking away from something, someplace, or someone, or multiple, due to some form of personal danger. Something is affecting your security in some form around you, and you don't like it. Okay. So the problem is the harvest, all right? You're investing in yourself, you're providing for yourself, education. And then the two other connotations in there are we want our universal blessings and we're seeking personal rewards. So I think maybe you're burned out. That could very well be a problem, all right? It's happened to me about 10 months ago in May when we immediately were born. I spent 6 weeks working about 20 hours a day, all right? And then I had to spend 3 months in the background recuperating energetically. I just burned myself at both ends and didn't realize it. So please don't do that, okay? But the fact that you're providing for yourself and you're breaking old generational or cyclic cycles that you've been stuck in, kind of looped in, that's a good sign. So let's move into the unconscious, which is showing up as the star today. The energy of our read is lifting the veil, seeing the truth around you for what it truly is. Okay, look to the ruins closest for clues, psychic abilities, and witnessing. Keep that in mind as we go forward. What is it you are looking at in your mind's eye, in your heart's eye, or with your own eyes, or mentally? Beautiful. So be careful. Don't burn yourself out. Let's see what you're thinking about with the star. Somebody is touching me energetically. Who are you? It's the same person that touched me the other day. I wonder if it is Nikki and her friend Deborah. Good morning. So the star energy is where your unconscious is focusing right now this morning. You're going after what you want. We just saw that. Look to the ruins closest to the star for clues, okay? Which would be careful not to burn yourself out, all right? Going after your harvest, right? Which is, you're blazing towards it. I see you, I feel you, many of you. Some of you are going up the corporate ladder. Someone else is starting another business. Someone else is working closer to home. Someone else is re-educating. Someone else has had some loss. Be careful you don't burn yourself out, though. Showing up as the star, you're inspiring others because you're being yourself, all right? And by doing that, you have freed yourself from any bonds of self, literally, so good. Let's move into your conscience, which is showing up as the crossroads. That's why I was confused. Figured it out now. You have made the decision. For a long time, though, things were up in the air. You were stuck. There was a lot of unknowns. There's too much fear to move forward until now. Self-empowerment is always a good thing. There you are again. Huh. I'll show you guys what I mean. So you see the goosebumps and the hair, right? That's how you know, I'm wearing 3 layers of clothes. I should not be cold, right? And so the fact that I have chills and stuff running up my spine tells me as a psychic intuitive I'm picking up energies around me. So let's see what's going on with your past. It had something to do with the rings. Maybe it was a bad divorce. Sorry to hear that. I've had one of those too. Circumstances that connect people combining different elements to create something totally new. Again, I will apologize repeatedly for the commenting. I'm not really sure what happened with that. I have a feeling it's Facebook giving me a warning, so I will heed that warning. So bear with me. If I have a decent enough time schedule today, I might pop in later during the afternoon for something just fun for the heck of it. Now we get into your future of the year. All right, showing up as the man. When the man comes around. Johnny Cash. This is somebody who's looking like a traditional male characteristic type person. Somebody who's always busy, always in the middle of some kind of action. Somebody who might be a father, could possibly be a single mother, all right, who has to encompass all that as well, all right. Somebody who's seen as protecting, all right, somebody who looks over or takes care of loved ones in a provider type fashion. Maybe you'll have mom or dad or a family member living with you so you can keep a closer eye on them. Good for you. Somebody in this room is becoming more empowered. You're stepping into your personal power this year. Good for you. Into your influence now, we walk into the moon energy. Let's see what you got going on. Long-term changes are coming. Transitions and changes have probably happened. You jumped off a tower not so many moons ago, and this is anywhere within the last 5 years for a lot of you that I'm feeling, okay? So a lot can happen in 5 years. I can attest to that. I'm sure all of you can. You know, you're probably not in the same position you were 5 years ago. Might be slightly better, might be slightly worse. That's just how life rolls, ebbs and flows. Keep that in the back of your mind. It could be due to hidden agendas. You're betrayed. Somebody tried to take over your business or tried to overshadow you. I've had that problem as well. Somebody was using secrets against you. I've had those problems as well. Now you are using your imagination, your creativity, your traditional female characteristics being noted here today in this runic card as feminine energies. That is what men use. In between our brains, when we use our creativity and how we carry ourselves, etc., that is our dominant female characteristics, men. Just so you know. All right, well, not bad. Let's see what your external influence is. All right, and romance it is. All right, love and relationships, deep love. You're looking for best friend type people. I get it. I feel you. Well, somebody has a lot to say today. Or this is an omen of sorts. We'll find out. Anyways, you're looking for deep emotional or deep spiritual connections, higher consciousness type stuff. You're trying to be a better person. Maybe you're taking some of that crap out of yourself internally, doing some extreme shadow work. All right. And you're doing it with a fervor, with a passion that levels searching for a soulmate, or some of you are actively searching for a partner. Okay. Your hopes and fears. The winds are still blowing this morning. Good. Okay. Showing up as flight. The winds are blowing through the trees. Okay. Things are moving in the universe, behind the scenes, or at subatomic levels that we can't tell. Things are moving. There's energy being expelled. All right. So very good card. It's obviously not a fear, so nothing to worry about. Okay. Let's see what you guys are doing here. You're moving. All right. Great. Awesome. I hope we're all moving. We've been talking about action all morning. Communication. Good. Good. You're talking, you're learning, you're asking questions, you're reading information, travel. Maybe you're going in between places right now because that's how it has to be. But you're still focused and you still have something on your mind, all right? And with that being said, let's move into the end of the runic read with as your outcome. Again, a big, big movement, all right? Maybe this is talking about this huge worldwide awakening we keep talking about lately that we think is slowly overtaking the human population in its own ways. Maybe that's what it's talking about for movement. Maybe it's pointing to the fact that you're looking for a deeper connection. You're looking for true love, real love between friends or a companion or a partner or a business partner or to the spiritual world in general. You are really trying to ascend yourself and become better. Good for you. You're no longer out of flow of your life. You are in flow. You are in control. Your insecurity has fallen. You have let go of being overwhelmed, and you have now cursed its name. Good job. You're not letting life beat you down. All right? Good deal, guys. All right, so I apologize for having the comments stuck off. All right, but I have a fairly positive inclination to think it's Facebook tapping me, that I wasn't as PG as I should have been last night. So apologies for being slapped. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get off here, see what's going on with my wife. It is 1:11 on the clock, actually. So blessings. I love each and every one of you. Blessed be. Tobias out.